Hey you guys, it's Misty. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit of our home buying experience. So if you're just first clicking on this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about our process of purchasing our new home. I just did a home tour. That is the video before this one. So that is why I'm making this video. At the end of that video, I kind of shared that for anyone interested, I was going to talk a little bit about it. The reason being is that we were in the same house for 19 years. We have lived in that house since a week before I brought our first baby home. So we moved in July of 2001, like July 10th or 12th or something, and I had him on the 19th. It was a little cute cookie cutter house in a little neighborhood. We had 4 models to choose from. We picked out the model we wanted. We got like the mid-grade model. It wasn't the smallest of the houses that you could pick, but it wasn't the biggest. It was actually the model that we walked through, and it was just our little slice of the American dream. So I loved that house so much, but it was a little small for us. I think it was like 1,350 square feet, which we made work. We made it work, and I love that house. Like, I poured all of my love and creativity. I mean, I really worked hard in that house. And so we knew we were coming up on almost 20 years being in that house. So we had told ourselves, we were going to make a decision. We were either going to refinance and put money into that house, new flooring, new bathrooms, new kitchen, or we were going to sell our house. Now, one thing I want to mention is, I wanted to move back like in 2014. My best friend moved, and she lived across the street. We raised our kids together. She moved, and I wanted to move so bad. Like, I became super dissatisfied with our house, and I just didn't like our decor, and I was just going through like a really rough time. That was like 2014, 2015. And then I have told my myeloma story. I have a video on that. But like in 2016, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to put all my energy into getting healthy and like working out and losing weight and just being like, I'm almost 40 and I'm just going to be like in the best shape ever. And the next year I was diagnosed with a blood cancer, which was very difficult. I had to go on treatment and I had to gear up for a stem cell transplant. And the month that I was diagnosed, my husband lost his job. So like his business actually went out of business. So he didn't get fired. But so at that point, I was almost like, what you doing, Lord? I was really freaking out. But per usual, God is so good. And I'm going to try not to cry about it because it's just one of those things where you look back on your life and you're like, oh my gosh, if we had moved out when I wanted to move out, and if we had been able to get a new house, we would have had a bigger mortgage. We would have really struggled way more than we did. I mean, we were kept afloat. James found odd jobs. He got a job pretty quickly after he was let go, or the business went out. And God just showed himself in a mighty way. He took care of us, and just provided so much. I look back and I thank the Lord that we weren't able to move when I wanted to move. And that through me being dissatisfied and having, being so selfish about certain things, I mean, he just brought me to a halt. And, in so many ways, I'm grateful for my cancer. I know, don't get me wrong, that I have my bad days when I cry and I'm just like, why me, Lord? Why did I have to go through with that? But most of the time, I can see the Lord working in my life, and I know it is only for my good, and that He has truly had His hand in my life the entire time. So, with that being said, I am so grateful that He provided for us during that time, and we did not get a bigger house until it was time. So I've been doing great in the last few years. I've been in remission. My medicines work. Just God is good in that whole aspect. So thank you for those of you that still watch my videos. If you are a subscriber because of my myeloma videos, but you still watch, thank you. And I know that I've probably lost a lot of subscribers that were here for that content, but I was very quick to tell people that my content was not going to be about my cancer. I'll have little things here and there about health, and I might do updates, but this channel is an escape from cancer, and it's an escape from medicine. And so that's, but anyways, I digress. So I'm telling you, the Lord just blessed us in a mighty way from after my transplant, and then my husband got a new job, and then he got a different job. And when that happened, and then the COVID shut everything down, I saw God work in such a mighty way. He took care of us, provided. I decided to get faithful with our tithing. It had been on my heart for a long time. I was very sporadic with my giving. I'm just being honest. And so I felt like I needed to start tithing. Became faithful with tithing. And I'm telling you, like, God provided in such a way. So that leads me to buying our house. We made the decision we were going to sell our house. The market was starting to take off. And when I started looking into house prices, I could not believe that our house was appraising, it was appraising on like Zillow for like a certain amount, which was like $100,000 more than we paid for it. And sure enough, our house appraised for the amount that we asked. And we got an offer the first weekend we put our house on the market, and we sold it, and we closed a month later. So we moved in with my mom. So the whole plan was we were going to sell our house. We were going to move in with my mother, who graciously allowed us to move in. She still lives in the home that she raised her children with. And my stepfather passed away a few years ago. So she is by herself, and she graciously allowed us to move in. So my whole family had the top floor. We all had our bedrooms. We all had a bathroom. It was like a perfect situation, and I'm so grateful that my mom allowed us to do that. That allowed us to, move into her house. We had time to like really fix up our house, once we got everything out, sold it. And then after Christmas, so we moved out in July of 2020. And by January of 2021, so last year, we started looking. So this was the second house, the house that I live in. It was the second house we looked at. And from the moment I walked in, I knew it was the one. So let me backtrack and tell you, this house, I saw this house on Zillow back the month that we decided to move out. I was looking at Zillow, and I saw this house on Zillow. And the outside of the house was beautiful. And that's what drew me in. Then I looked at the pictures, and I was like, okay, this house is decorated like really bad. It's got like really bad colors, and it looks really small, but maybe there's potential. And my husband's like, why are you looking on Zillow? Like, stop looking on Zillow. We haven't even moved out of our house. And I thought, he's right. So I stopped looking on Zillow because, you just get so like it's sad because you know these houses aren't going to be available when you're ready to buy. So it was just pointless to look and to like dream and get your hopes up over a certain house. So in January, I logged back into Zillow and looked, and this house was back on the market. And my first thought was, what is wrong with this house? So I showed the house to my realtor, and her first, who was a very wonderful close friend, and her first thought was, I don't think this house is for sale. So sometimes Zillow has houses on there, and when you call the number, it's like they want to, show you houses, and it's kind of like a way for them to get business. So she was thinking that's what this was. And she was like, I don't think it's for sale. It's not on MLS. And she was sending us all the MLS listings. It's not on MLS. So I don't think it's like for sale. So I thought, okay, well, the inventory was not there. And I just couldn't stop thinking about this house. So I took it upon myself to call the number of the seller. And this man picked up and he told me, yeah, the house is for sale. And he basically told me what happened was he had it for sale back at, the previous year when I saw it. It was for sale. It had a contract on it, but the buyer, their financing fell through. So he was just getting around to putting it back on the market when we started looking. So I just couldn't believe it. So I said, my realtor will be calling you ASAP. So sure enough, she called him. We got a look, and my first impression was, this is my house. Like, this is it. I want to live here. I can see it. My husband's first impression was, I don't like the kitchen. I don't like the kitchen. That's basically what he didn't like. He didn't like the kitchen. He didn't like, it was kind of closed off. It wasn't like a closed kitchen, but it definitely had, wasn't open to the living room, and the flooring was terrible. But he did give us a $5,000 flooring allowance, and he left the flooring in. So we're VA. And if you're VA, they have to leave the flooring in, or it's very hard for you to get like the financing approved, because it has to be like a move-in ready house, so to speak. So he was like, no, I don't like it. So I'm like, all right, fine, let's go. Let's keep looking. Well, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot on the market. So we saw another house down the street. It was like $20,000 more than this house was. And let me say, this house was priced like the lowest possible house price in the area that we're looking in. So, because we're moving to more of a higher end area, so we knew we weren't going to be looking for the most expensive house, but it was a great price. Let's just say that. So it was definitely priced really good. So we looked at this other house. It needed just as much work, and it was like $20,000 more. And it wasn't even cute. So I talked him into seeing this house again. And so we walked through, and the second time my husband walked through, I think it kind of hit him like he liked it. So he says to me, the only way I'm going to want to move into this house is if we renovate. So we decided to renovate. And my cousin is a contractor, so we contacted him. He came in. He, said he could do the work. We put an offer on the house, and the offer was accepted. And then we applied let me say this before, but we did get pre-qualified for financing. I didn't mention that, but that is a huge thing. So get pre-qualified. We did get pre-qualified, so that makes your seller know that you're serious. So we were pre-qualified, and he accepted our offer, and then we went from there. Now let me say, we had a few bumps in the road. My husband had He had to prove income. Our loan kept going to underwriting a few times. It was very stressful. And we were supposed to close in like 30 to 45 days. And it took like 15 to 20 more days than we originally thought to close. And that was stressing our seller out. So that was kind of stressful for us. But we just kept, we were like trying to stay strong. It was very difficult. But the one thing I had prayed about, I prayed that the Lord would give my husband peace. And I literally prayed that, like, please give him peace. Because, I stay at home, he works, and he's very, very, responsible. We're, responsible with our money, and he didn't want to get into a home that we couldn't afford. So come to find out, we talked with our mortgage company. We had an extremely low rate. And then instead of putting like all of our money down on the house, we were able to buy our interest rate down even lower than it already was, which then saved us money. So we put down just enough money that our VA closing costs were super low, and it paid for buying our rate down, but we kept like most of our money for renovations. And that was such a wonderful thing, because like all along we were thinking we're just going to put all of our money down on the house. So we had an amazing mortgage broker that really just gave us amazing advice. And yes, it was stressful, going through the underwriting and having, to keep giving them information, and, they're just doing their job. But after, a little bit longer than normal, we were able to close on our house. So that was like one of the best days of my life. Like, it was so amazing to know that we were embarking on a new journey with our family. This house was everything I prayed for. I prayed for 4 bedrooms. I wanted a bigger bedroom, a bigger master bathroom. I wanted, like a white kitchen with my, the craftsman style cabinets and the pretty white quartz, and a dining room. I really wanted a dining room. And we had a sunroom at our old house. So I love that. I missed, that was one thing I was going to miss about our old house, but we have an even better room because it's screened in, and our old sunroom was super hot because the sun went down and it became like an oven in that room. This room is different. Our house, the sun is, when it goes down in the back, there's tons of shade. So it literally was such an answered prayer. So that is basically our story. God is good all the time, no matter what. Even if we didn't get this house, he's still good, and he would have provided another house, a better house, whatever. But I am so thankful that he did see fit to save this house for me. God saved this house for me. I know he did. And that makes it all the more special. So thank you so much. I certainly appreciate you watching. I hope that none of my videos ever come across as me bragging or, oh, look what I have, or anything like that. Like, I'm passionate about decor. I'm passionate about decorating and just making whatever your space is your own. So I appreciate all the wonderful comments, and I really appreciate you guys watching. And just know that my heart is just to share a little bit of my life with you guys. And yeah, so that is it. If you got this far, thank you so much. And if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Yeah, just let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.